Does adding a Catback exhaust and an ECU tune add power on a naturally aspirated Porsche 911? In this video, we're going to find out. This is my 2010 Porsche 911 Carrera S. The 3.8 motors on the 997.2 come standard with 385 horsepower. And would it be nice to say,
my car has 400 horsepower.
So in this video, we're going to get scientific and do some dyno testing with the ECG Performance Valve Catback exhaust system and the Cobb Accessport ECU tuner. So this is the ECG Performance Valve Catback exhaust system that I've been developing for the last year, and it is designed to be less restrictive than stock. You have your two high flow mufflers on the side, and you don't have the third muffler in the center. And let's take a look at how the gases flow. So the gases flow from each bank through these inlets here, and then the gas is going to go from there into the side mufflers and out. But when you have the valves open, it's going to flow through the center section. You're going to have your X pipe here that's going to create a scavenging effect to help the gases flow better. And then you're going to bypass the side mufflers. Now, you're not going to bypass the side mufflers completely. With the valves open, about 70% of the gases will come out of the bypasses and the other 30% going through the mufflers. You wouldn't want 100% of the gases to bypass the mufflers, or the car is going to sound very loud and unrefined. And trust me, it doesn't sound good. But this, to me, is the right balance of aggressiveness while still be very streetable and not obnoxious for cruising around. So with less restriction in the exhaust setup, I'm hoping this is going to give us more power. We're going to find out. I'm headed to Tech Motorsports in Dallas, Texas. Tech is known for building some of the highest horsepower Nissan GTRs in the country. For the first run, we'll be doing a baseline with the stock exhaust along with the Gundo hack, which really doesn't give you any additional power. We're going to use this to see how much horsepower we're starting with. Then we'll add the ECG Performance exhaust and see what the horsepower difference is. Alright, car fanatics, so let's take a look at our results. With the ECG Performance Valve exhaust, we are able to pick up about 8 peak wheel horsepower and another 9 foot-pounds of torque. And then for max gains, we were able to pick up about 10 wheel horsepower and 10 foot-pounds of torque. That's actually pretty impressive for just an exhaust system. Additionally, the car picked up more power and torque throughout the entire power band. This is pretty impressive for just a Catback exhaust system with no tune whatsoever. Alright, with our dyno results, we're able to calculate that the drivetrain loss is about 10.1%. So with our new wheel horsepower, we can calculate our crank horsepower to be around 394 horsepower, just shy of 400. Let's go ahead and put on that Cobb tune and see what we get. Now, Cobb claims this is going to add about 5% more power to the car. So with 385, an additional 5%, it should get the car right at around 400 horsepower. Now, a lot of people say that the cars come highly tuned by Porsche from the factory and are very skeptical of the power claims. But we're going to test it and we're going to find out. Alright, we're back at Tech, and it's important to note that these next runs were taken several months apart from the prior runs. So it's important that we reestablish a baseline with the stock ECU plus the ECG Performance exhaust, and it just rained today, so I am expecting a lot less power because of the added humidity. Let's take a look at the dyno chart. So with the Cobb tune, we made 8.31 wheel horsepower less. We dynoed at 334.56 horsepower versus 342.87 with the stock ECU. On the torque side, we did make 3.49 foot-pounds of torque more than the stock ECU. However, this is pretty minimal. what we see is that from 3 to 5,000 RPM, the car gained a little bit of horsepower and torque, but just a slight amount. And then after 5,000 RPM, we actually lost a little bit of horsepower and torque. So what do you think? Is the Cobb Accessport a scam? Well, in my opinion, not really. It's a off-the-shelf map. You can't really expect that good of results with an off-the-shelf map. I do think that with a custom tune, you could probably extract a few horsepower out of the vehicle, but I think conventional wisdom prevails here that the 997 naturally aspirated motors really don't have that much power that you can extract just from an ECU tune. Now, we did see that with a less restrictive exhaust like the ECG Performance exhaust, we're able to pick up 8-wheel horsepower and almost 10 foot-pounds of torque. That is pretty good for just a bolt-on with no sort of tuning. But in terms of an ECU tune, you're probably not going to get that much power on a naturally aspirated motor. And for the money, $1,000+ and then however much for a custom tune, it might not be worth it. Well, there you have it, Car Fanatics. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to pick up the ECG Performance Valve Exhaust, take a look at the description below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Leave me comments or questions below and be sure to hit that bell notification icon so you're notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.